Good morning, students. My name is Swapna. I am working as faculty in Biological Sciences in Pananiya Mahavidyalaya College of Education. Today, my topic on e-module is recording and reporting. So, what is meant by recording and reporting? Recording and reporting are learning evidences and are crucial components of assessment and evaluation. Recording and reporting is based on the existing guidelines on assessment and on current good practice. It is based on learning and teaching of pupil in school and gives advice to teacher and to parents on the ways in which information will be gathered about the success and the progress of the pupil in relation to the curriculum and personal and social development. Recording and reporting communicates comprehensive information about students' learning and achievements in different forms to range of audiences for a variety of purposes. So, what are the main objectives of this recording and reporting? It is to convey a feeling of individual attention, to reaffirm a positive self-image of students, to communicate personal goal for students to work towards its achievement, to provide qualitative statements, support and assessment. So, when we see the description of recording provides the platform from which the teachers can base their reporting to others and is mechanism for evaluating learning and teaching. The teachers forward plans, programs of study can serve a dual purpose as plans and records. Recording will enable teachers to share with pupils successful learning and identifying development needs and next steps. It will monitor the effectiveness of teaching and pupils' progress in relation to attainment outcomes and targets. It will engage teachers to report to parents, other teachers and other appropriate agencies. It will also inform the head school board attainment levels in classwork and in national test. It will provide feedback of the students and to the parents as important as it goes long way in enhancing students' performance. Students' self-growth as well as development needs to be assessed and reported. Giving rank to the students should be avoided. The feedback regarding students given to their parents in form of marks or grades fail to inform the scope of improvement in each subject. It is better to give qualitative feedback on the work done in each subject on continuous basis. In accordance in the position paper on examination reform, NCERT 2006 recommends that the word fail should not appear on mark sheet. It can representation by words such as unsatisfactory or better needs, more work to attain desired standards. The word fail carries social stigma and often victimizes students for systematic deficiencies in teaching, textbook availability, etc. Finally, students' progress in learning science needs to be considered on the report card. Each student can also assess himself or herself and include this self-assessment in the report card. Analysis of various areas of learning such as process skills of science and scientific attitude, interest and inquiry can also be included on the report card. This would assist students by pointing out the areas of study that they need to focus on and also help them by providing a basis for further choices that they make regarding what to study further. The analysis of the performance of the students, whether it is of continuous and comprehensive evaluation or public evaluation, is very important activity. CCE, that is comprehensive evaluation, has many advantages. Its feedback helps students immediately. The feedback to the student should be provided with positive suggestions so that they feel a sense of achievements. So, we should see what are teaching records. A succinct account of teaching and learning aims It is a brief indication of teaching methods used. It can evaluate, comment, and how the class have coped and notes of next steps. What are the individual records? Individual records are the folios, collection of work, national test results, records of self-peer assessment, indications of levels of achievement, summaries of overall class performance, etc. Reporting. What is reporting? Reporting is an account or a statement describing in detail an event, situation, or the like, usually as a result of observation, inquiry, etc. A person who is accountable or subordinate to another such person within an organization, made it is made to represent or present an official or formal account for any event or aspect. Reporting communicates comprehensive information about students' learning and achievement in different forms to a range of audiences for a variety of purposes. Comprehensive reporting covers three major areas: student reporting, school reporting, system reporting. Student reporting. What is meant by student reporting? Student reporting report is a parents, carers using students' reports, strengthening family partnerships by engaging teachers and families in regular and meaningful communication about students' learning needs. What about school reporting? School report to local community via their annual report, providing a concise summary of school's achievement and progress. System reporting. The department reports systematic improvement to the broader education community through statewide and national reports, providing statistical and related information about education outcomes. Additionally, school enrolling international schools students are required to monitor their academic progress, accommodation, and welfare issues and implement a documented intervention strategy where academic progress is at risk or failing to meet minimum student visa requirements. How do we measure the student's achievements? The achievement of the student is mostly measured and recorded in terms of marks. This is being carried out by way awarding numerical marks at interval scale that runs from 0 to 100. The comparison of students' performance from subject to subject and for year to year it is not possible. It is because neither the 0 nor the 100 are absolute. 0 does not indicate nothingness and 100 does not indicate the perfection of achievement. This limitation results in variations of spread in the scores in different subjects. Further, the measurement error may vary and as such comparison on the basis of variation of 1 or 2 marks is not justified. This shortcoming can be overcome if the students are placed in ability bands that represent ranges of scores. National policy on education recommended the introduction of grade system for assessment of achievement of the students. Types of grades. We have different types of grades. The first one is direct grading. So what is meant by direct grading? In direct grading, the performance exhibited by individual is assessed in qualitative terms and the impression so obtained by the examiner is directly expressed in terms of letter grades. The advantage of direct grading is that it minimizes the inter-examiner variability. Moreover, it is easier to use a comparison to indirect grading. Direct grading, however, may lack transparency. What is meant by indirect grading? Indirect grading, in this method, the performance of the examinee is first assessed in terms of marks, subsequently transformed into letter grades by using different modes. This transformation may be carried out in terms of both absolute grading and relative grading as discussed below. In absolute grading, we see it is based on predetermined standards that become a reference point for assessment of students' performance. It involves direct conversion of marks into grades, irrespective of the distribution of marks in subject. It is just like categorization of students into 5 groups, namely distinction, first division, second division, unsatisfactory, third division, etc. It is possible to divide absolute grading into any other categories. Though the range of marks may be same in different subjects, in each of the category, the grades so awarded are not comparable as marks themselves are not comparable. The number of students placed in different categories will differ from subject to subject and from year to year, making them incomparable. So when we see the letter A is about 90% and above and it is said to be outstanding. B is 80 to 89, which is excellent. C is 70% to 79, very good. D is 60 to 69%, which is good. E is 50% to the 59%, above average. F is 40% to 49, average, and below average students. This method is simple and straight. Meaning of each grade is distinctly understandable. Each student has the freedom to strive for the attainment of the highest possible grade as the classification of grades is pre-announced. The limitation of this method is that the distribution of scores is taken on its face value regardless of the errors and measurements creeping in due to various types of subjectivity. Relative grading. When we talk about the relative grading, it is generally used in public examination. In this system, grade of student is decided not by her performance alone rather than the performance of the group. This type of grading is popularly known as grading on the curve. The curve refers to the normal distribution curve or some systematic variant of it. This method amounts to determine in advance approximately what percentage of students can be expected to receive different grades, namely A, B, C, and so on, with reference to a specific group. If the perceived curve is transformed into a normal curve, it allows us to categorize the obtained scores into any desired number of grades in a scientific manner. If we decide to use a 9-point grade system, we may simply divide the entire measurement scale into 9 equal parts. The advantages of relative grading are as follows. Performance of individual students is rated in terms of grades and no grade signifies the failure of students, thereby eliminating the negative effect is pass or fail. Grades indicates the relative position of an individual with reference to her peer group, serving the purpose of norm referencing, that is whether the individual students have performed better or worse than other students. Test difficulty does not affect the distribution of the grades. How do we measure the process skills? Checklist or rating scales can be used for measurements of process skills for any task. This description of measuring process skill can be developed for the task specific to the learning indicators of process skills. We can assess by we can mark yes, no against each task. Like for example, assembles apparatus correctly, handles apparatus correctly, measures the precision, interprets data correctly. If the rating is followed, 5-point scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like above average, below average, average, good, very good, excellent according to the task present can be used. Tick mark can be put on the relevant point view. Measurement of attitudes. A rating scale of practical test can be used for the purpose. Students' honesty, cooperation, objectivity, etc. can be measured on predefined rating scale. For example, point values can be assigned to each attitude item shown below. Like for example, rating scale strongly agree, mildly agree, neutral undecided, mildly disagree, strongly disagree. For the strongly disagree, the positive attitude items are 5 and the negative attitude items are 1. Mildly agree 4 and negative attitude 2. So in this way we can grade. It is often argued that the marks and grades carry little meaning and therefore should be substituted very verbal qualitative assessment. Undoubtedly, verbal assessments that identify strengths and challenges may be very useful, especially to the students and the parents. However, this kind of assessment can be carried out on the basis of learning indicators. Quantification has limitations, but at the same time carries advantages such as brevity and ease the communication. Portfolio. Now we are going to know what is meant by portfolio. A portfolio is a set of pictures by students or the photographs of examples of their work, which they use when entering competitions, classroom work, activities, or applying for work. Collection of their own science work, which included reports of laboratory work done either alone or with a partner, in a group, or all completed home and the classroom assignments. Test and weekly quizzes conducted in the classroom records, the report of the article they selected from the newspaper or the magazine which they had critically analyzed, reports of field transcript, visit to any industry, reports of projects that involved scientific investigations and projects that were entered in science exhibitions. Portfolio can be used as a way of collecting, recording, monitoring, and communicating about learning evidences to the administrators and community. Students can actively involve in this progress. It provides students the opportunity of self-assessment, reflection on their work, and setting goals of their learning. The portfolio should contain the materials that show different aspects of students' abilities. It shows that the students has learned about writing reports, performing experiments, conducting discussions, giving presentation on science topic, designing posters, etc. Evaluation of the portfolios. Portfolios can be done in the following ways. Self-evaluation. Students can evaluate their own portfolios. The diversity of the products in different portfolios can be also so much. Identification of the evaluation criteria will not be on the simple task. Teachers will have to work cooperatively with the students and design a set of criteria by which both teachers and students can judge the quality of their portfolio products. By using the negotiated criteria, students can evaluate their own work. Students can identify their major strengths and challenges of a given product and then reflect on how the product could be improved. How to conduct portfolio conferences. These conferences not only help the evaluating students' learning product but also help them in improving their self-evaluation abilities. Conferences can be planned in advance so that the students can start preparing for their conferences well in time. Community can be invited in the presence in the conference. Students can also give presentation. Involvement of parents in the process of portfolio evaluation. Of every beginning of the lesson, students' presence, guardians are encouraged to keep reviewing their children's learning evidences and products. In this way, the portfolio assessment can provide a way of documenting and evaluating growth of students' works that is happening in the classroom. Thus, there are various ways of systematic collection of learning evidences of learners. Teacher can use various modes of information and communication, ICT technology for maintaining record reporting. Reflecting process. Assessment is both reflected process, that is by students' performance, and reflecting process, that is by teachers' performance. Assessment as reflected process. Assessment as a reflected process. During the teaching learning of science, it is very important to observe the identify misconceptions and naive concepts of the students and facilitates them to reconstruct their concept. This can be done by interacting with students in various teaching learning situations by exploring learner. Teachers should provide them feedback to draw their attention on how their concepts are consonant with scientific explanation of the concept. Dealing with students' misconceptions on naive concepts at early time is important, as studies show that one they deep rooted, this it is difficult, very difficult to remove them, and such concepts become hindrance to further learning. Reflective prompts. Reflective prompts is a technique in which teacher provides a set of flexible questions to students that prompt them to reflect on their own learning. In this technique, each student answers some questions such as given below, like what are the how what do you, what did you enjoy about the lesson or unit? What is the difficult and the very easy aspect of the lesson? Can you explore the ideas of the lesson and how can it is helpful for him? The teacher can use this feedback for improving teaching learning processes, and she can ask question whether it is okay or not and can improve my performance, and to know the answers to all the questions and was the time was less or time, and share my ideas clearly into the classroom discussion, or can demonstrate positive or responsible attitude towards learning, and how can they do work differently in the next time. So assessment as reflecting process. The teacher can look back the lesson and think the overall progress of the students. She can investigate the following questions. What went when? What misconceptions and new concepts students still have? How can I improve the content and the pedagogy of the lesson? What would I change in the lesson again? Analyzing their own performance helps the teacher to provide additional inputs, look into innovative approaches of teaching learning, select suitable tools and techniques of assessment, and change the direction of work when needed. Final summary. The need of recording and reporting is given learner periodic reports to the guardians, administrators, and community about the quality and level of the learner's progress. Certificate of completion of the course and meaningful report for the inter-school transfer of the learner. It is not a means to encourage competition among the learners. It is basically a learner-centered and should be integrated with the process of teaching, learning to enhance the quality of teaching and learning. It should facilitate all-round development of a child. We should comprehensively assess the performance of the students in continuous basis by assessing the students' progress with reference to their own self, with reference to the criteria set by the teacher and the learners. Various tools and techniques such as portfolios can be used to assessing the performance of the students and their attitudes, interests, capability, and independent learning. There should be a flexibility in it. At upper primary and secondary level, we should focus on the observation, inquiry, and description. At higher stage, we should focus more on reasoning, inquiry, application. In the modern times, where creativity, innovativeness, and the development of the entire personality are hallmarks, we need to redefine and search for new ways of assessment and feedback. Teacher may choose most suitable approach depending upon the learning needs of the learner and teaching learning process. This is about recording and reporting. Thank you.